Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Joseph Bradley. I'm going to let Spirit guide my words today to see what comes up. One of the things I'll talk real briefly about is some of my spirit guides. One of my spirit guides, the first one I met when I discovered was in Peru, and I was on a 3-day hike, and halfway I couldn't eat for the 3 days, and halfway through that hike I seen a black bear on the side of a cliff. Then I eventually figured out later on down the road it was one of my spirit guides when I was able to do the journeys the way I do them now. The second one I had was a Celtic Warrior, and he was with me for quite a while, and for the first, I think, give or take a year or so when I was heavily doing these journeys. It might not seem that long, but I did a lot of journeys in that first year. And he ended up leaving, and I'm thinking, well, what did I do wrong? Did I do something wrong? Like, why are you leaving? But that's just how it goes. You find out very quickly that spirit guides, some of them are only there when they need them to be there, and they come and go. And that's perfectly natural. You're going to have some that are with you your whole life, like your total animal, for instance, will always be there. But then you'll have other animal guides come and go. And you'll have spirit guides, in a sense of what we would call humanoid spiritual guides, also come and go. But there's always one that seems to be there that's kind of attached to you. But you can have 5 or 6 or 7. There's no limit on how many spirit guides you have. Times in your life you might end up having a whole lot of them, like 7 or 8 of them even, depending on what you're going through in your life. And they could be fantasy type, like fairies, dragons. They could be butterflies. They could be spiders, insects. They could be lizards, bunny rabbits, bears, eagles. The list goes on and on and on. But then the humanoid ones, and you could also have a bunch, and they also have your angel guides, or even alien guides, or different types of energy signatures, you could say, that will show themselves as whatever your mind wants to interpret them to be. One of the cool experiences I had was the first time I seen one of my female guides, and she was one that's been around me for a long time, and I didn't really know who she was until I seen her, because I know I experienced her multiple times in the past, but it was through a dream state and never really paid much attention to it. I remember this because it was really prolific experience, but I didn't think much of it and didn't clue it together until I actually started working with her. One of the first times she came to me, she's extremely beautiful, and the energy is very, 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 it's just a very soothing energy. But to experience her in that state, in the journey state, was just absolutely breathtaking. So I'm sitting here staring at her because she's so beautiful, and not just the physical appearance, but the energy she gives off. I was kind of in awe, and she's trying to teach me something. At the same time, I can't stop looking at her. So it was a pretty funny interaction. And she was trying to show me to switch from the flowers, and then finally I ended up paying attention because I kind of had no choice, right? Well, I did have a choice, but I chose to actually start paying attention to what she was saying. It's just when you first experience such beautiful energy, you can be in awe about it, and that's perfectly fine. And what she was showing me is energy of a flower. And she's like, because I would look, and you have the ability in journey states to either see things as all energy, sees things as physical, or anywhere in between. And so I was looking at the flowers as flowers, but then she told me to switch it so I can see them as energy, and take the flower and pick the flower and give the energy flower to a person, and it kind of gives them a little up, like pick me up. Flowers have a very beautiful, very sweet energy, and it reminds me a lot of her spirit guide. She has that type of energy, and it was quite a beautiful experience. And she ended up becoming a huge part of my life for well, till this day. She's quieted down a bit, and my guides are switching from one to the other. My angel guides, I've worked a lot with angels, and one of the first angels I worked with was Archangel Michael, and then Gabrielle, and it's later on, but Gabrielle's not as frequent, but also Raphael as well, and Metatron, and they're the main ones. And Metatron came much later in my journey experience. Metatron is a very serious energy, kind of reminds me of myself. I had many other experiences with different types of energies, and I work with Jesus quite a bit as well. But again, Jesus is one of those energies that come and go once in a while, and when you really need him, he's there. It's kind of like Michael that way, and it's kind of like all the angels that way. When you really need them for something, they're going to be there for you. And I remember one time, it was a while back, I agreed for something, I don't know what it was, but he ended up appearing, and he ended up taking that thing from me. But when he did it, the whole sky burst into golden energy, and he slammed his spear through me, and instantly took out that thing that was attached to me. And when you see angels, they can appear as normal people, or they can appear as an angel, or they can appear as kind of like the true form. And when I'm telling you, you see the angels, even if it's a part of their true form, you'll never forget it. I know Metatron showed me his wings one day, and it filled the whole sky. And they're the two angels that really kind of showed their true form to me. And when the true form comes, it is very, very powerful and beautiful to experience. And I thought maybe just a little short message about guides to help you kind of understand that guides come and go, guides come in all different varieties of energies and spirits and messages. So just enjoy it, experience it, and don't worry if one comes and one goes and you think you might have done something wrong or you didn't do something wrong. It doesn't matter, because you didn't do anything wrong. It was just the way it was meant to be. And enjoy the experiences. I'm going to close my eyes here and see what message they want to portray to everyone that's listening today. I always go to one other place in my mind, and I ask the question, what spirit wants to come forward to give a message to the world? A message that is different. I understand a lot of the times they're really pushing a specific message. Well, I would like this message to be a bit different, but also very meaningful. Again, I'm surrounded by these circular, I don't know if I've talked much about them, but they're a race of spirits that appear in a lightning bolt all around me. And there's a bunch of them that appear, and they form a circle around me, and they're the ones that came forward first. There's one that's the main leader that's coming forward, and he's smiling at me. They are an alien type race. I know they've come many times, but for me, an alien race shows up as spirits. Humans are spirits, angels are spirits. But there's a different energy they give off, and these things I've always expected to be aliens. And these ones come from the Andromeda galaxy, they're saying. And they've been working with me for a while now. And I don't really care about names, but they are bluish in color. This one is tall, is a male. The rest all are robed. And they pull their robes back to show their faces. They have long, light blue hair. There is females here as well. They say they live for thousands of years. They don't really live in what we would call a normal physical reality. It is in between, they say. They're able to experience life in the spiritual world as well as the physical. But they choose to come in the spiritual to speak to people. They don't show to everyone, only a select few. The ones that they say have the right heart is how they explain it. The right heart, they say. They are very humanoid in appearance. They're very regal looking, almost elf-like. They're very fair, bluish skin, almost like a pale blue, with their pale blue hair, which is just slightly darker than their skin. Their eyes are like violet, and their hearts they have a very, very bright, when he shows me his heart, it gets extremely bright. Very, very white light that he can change into any color he wishes. And he says to everybody that everyone has the choice to choose what color they want their heart to be. What color do you choose? Each color has a frequency. Each color has a meaning and a purpose and understanding for what it is. You can choose to bring all colors together to have pure white light, or you can hold all the colors in and you'll turn your heart black. So you can choose any color you wish. If you close your heart off, it will turn black. If you choose to allow your heart to shine, it can be whatever color you want it to be. Because I choose to give off all colors, so my heart is white. That is just my choice. He takes me by the hand and he says, walk beside me instead of behind me this time. So we all walk together in one line. All the ones that were behind me were surrounding me. We form one long line as we walk. As we walk forward, the energy, it's almost like a wave of energy is forming around our feet. We keep walking, the energy wave gets stronger and stronger. We start to spin, big, huge, we all spin kind of just like if you took a pole and a pivot and spun it. you'll kind of spinning that way, and it's creating, the wave is now pulling inward, creating a big vortex of energy. And we keep spinning, the energy gets stronger and stronger. And he goes, everyone has the ability to manipulate energy, to change it, to mold it, to amplify it. And then we all stop and the energy goes into just a tiny little point on his finger. It's a little tiny orb in the tip of his finger. Every bit of that energy that we just created goes into it. How are you going to use your energy? Are you going to make a lot of noise with no focus? Or are you going to focus your energy into a pinpoint of light on the tip of your finger? What are you going to do with that energy? Are you going to hold on to it? Are you going to manipulate people with it? Are you going to cause destruction? Or are you going to do something that is very beautiful, is the proper word. He takes that pinpoint of light, and there's a person lying down on the ground. They are very sick. They are dying. He takes that energy and touches their heart, and the person jumps up instantaneously, is completely healed. And the person walks away, doesn't even realize that the energy from this came from an invisible spirit. But the man's heart is completely opened. He knew a miracle just happened because he was dying, and now he's completely healed. And now he wants to go through life helping people. When he goes to the city where he came from, he is still ridiculed until he reaches down, touches a blind man's eyes, and he can see again. Then all of a sudden, everybody believes him. Everybody starts following him. But before that moment, he was ridiculed and tortured for who he was, because he was different. How many people in this world go through life being ridiculed because they are different? How do we know that one of you is not a healer, a master healer, but cannot remember who they are because the world beats you down and you allow that to happen? The important part of the message here is, how are you going to use your energy? How are you going to live your life? Because you are all energy. All of you are energy. Just like I am energy. If I can touch a man and heal him from the brink of death, so can you. But and he waves his hands and things get really foggy. This is what our minds are like. What your minds are like. So how do you clear away the fog so you can remember who you truly are? He points to his heart and he opens it again, and it shines light through their whole area, extremely bright. When your heart gets as bright as this, and your mind works through your heart, and you believe in who you are, and you understand what love is, and your intention is not for glory and fame, then you'll start to be able to heal. You'll start to be able to finally wake up to your true purpose. It does not come easy, and it is not fast. Don't expect for this to happen overnight. When you go to the gym and you work out, do you expect to have muscles, defined muscles within the first week, month? It takes years of development. You might see a very strong difference in a few months, but it takes years of dedication. But this could come easy because you already are developed more than you ever thought you were. But there's nobody that is truly exactly where they're supposed to be in their own minds. Because how are we supposed to know where we're supposed to be when we don't even know where we're supposed to be at this moment in time? And he laughs to himself. Well, why would you want to know that? He says. Why would you want to know exactly where you're supposed to be in this moment in time? And then tomorrow know what you're supposed to do in the time after that, and the time after that, and the time after that. Why would you come to a place on earth, a physical reality that you get cut off from your spirit, to know exactly what you're supposed to do? It kind of sounds funny to us because we understand the struggles that man goes through. But you have to ask yourself how ridiculous it is to come to a place that you're supposed to be cut off and expect to not be cut off. Expect to know exactly what is going to happen the next day. And he gets very serious about this. And he says, and he looks directly at me, and he looks through me at everyone that is listening to this video. Be very careful on where you put your energy. There are so many people in this world that say they have the answers for everything. And I'm telling you right now that there's so many that know nothing. Because true guides do not tell you the answers to everything. Because we're supposed to experience and learning for ourselves. We're here to help, to guide, not to tell you exactly everything that's going to happen. Because that's not what we do. So please, follow yourselves, follow your hearts. Listen to people that are there to help you. That are there to build you up, to make you feel good about yourself. If it's full of fear, then it doesn't come from a place of love. God does not spread fear. Humans spread fear. Chaos spreads fear. Chaos feeds off fear. But you, my friends, all of you, there's nothing to fear. Thank you very much, everyone. That's all they're going to share today. It was a beautiful message by a beautiful race of beings that I hope will continue to work with me and be by my side and teach me so I may further and better understand myself. If anybody wishes to do a reading with me, they can visit my website at www.amonrosawakening.com. Northern Lights, which I do, there's one picture right there. You can visit my site at josephbradleyroars.com. It's a passion of mine. And if anybody has never seen the Northern Lights, when they come out strong, it will change your life forever. But I'm telling you one thing, as doing this for many years, is as not as common as people say it is. There's weak Northern Lights, and there's medium Northern Lights, and there's really good Northern Lights, and then there's spectacular Northern Lights. If anybody ever goes to see them, I hope you're blessed with seeing the spectacular ones, because they are very much spectacular and will change your life. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Goodbye.